Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving deep into a really profound story, an ancient one from the Quran. It's a journey that offers some incredible wisdom for how we can navigate life's biggest and honestly most confusing mysteries.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You face these setbacks, these losses, situations that make absolutely zero sense. You lose a job, a relationship ends, a plan you worked so hard on just falls apart. And you're just left there wondering, why? Why is this happening to me?
Well, there's a story about the prophet Moses and a wise, mysterious figure known as Al-Khidr that gives us a powerful framework for these exact moments. It's like a guide to seeing the hidden wisdom behind what just looks like total chaos. So, let's start the journey. Okay, so our journey kicks off with lesson number 1. Moses and Al-Khidr get on a ship, and it belongs to some poor, really hard-working people. Now, what happens next is, well, it's completely unexpected.
Al-Khidr goes and deliberately damages the ship. He literally puts a hole in it. Now you can imagine, Moses is horrified. From his point of view, this is just a senseless act of destruction. He's destroying the property of people who are already struggling. It seems so cruel, so unjust.
But beneath this seemingly crazy act lies the hidden wisdom. Al-Khidr explains later that a tyrant king was out there on the waters, and he was forcefully taking every single good ship he found. So by damaging their boat just enough to make it look worthless, he actually saved it for them. What looked like harm was in fact an act of protection.
So how does this apply to us? I mean, think about it. That job you lost, maybe it was a toxic place that was slowly just draining the life out of you. That flight you missed? Yeah, it was frustrating, but who knows? Maybe it saved you from something much worse. What feels like a huge loss in the moment could actually be a hidden salvation.
This gives us the very first mindset we can start to practice. When you face a setback, instead of just falling into despair, you can try to reframe it with this thought. It's a way of seeing the potential protection that's hidden inside your loss.
Now, the second lesson, it builds on this theme, but I have to warn you, it's even more shocking. So next, Moses and Al-Khidr come across a young boy who's just playing, and Al-Khidr takes the boy's life. This is, and you can understand why, the ultimate test for Moses. He sees the murder of an innocent child. How could any good, any logic, possibly come from this?
The explanation here, it requires a huge shift in how you see things. Al-Khidr reveals that the boy's parents were deeply faithful people. But if he had lived, he was destined to become a tyrant who would have completely destroyed their faith and brought them unimaginable grief. So his death, as tragic as it is, was actually an act of mercy for them.
You know, this is a really difficult lesson, but it's so important. It suggests that sometimes something we desperately want, a relationship, a child, a partnership, is withheld not as a punishment, but as a form of protection. There's a future that we can't see, and maybe we're being saved from a pain we don't even know is on the way.
This gives us a really profound way to reframe our own lives. When something you love is taken from you, or a deep desire just isn't fulfilled, maybe it's not a deprivation. Maybe you're actually being saved from a future that would have broken you.
And that brings us to our third and final lesson. Moses and Al-Khidr get to this town where the people are just incredibly unwelcoming. They refuse to give them any food, any water, or even shelter.
Now, despite this really rude welcome, Al-Khidr spots a wall that's about to fall down, and he just decides to rebuild it for free. Moses is, again, just baffled. Why would you do a good deed for people who've shown you absolutely no kindness? At the very least, he says, you could have asked for some payment.
But just like before, the real reason was hidden. Al-Khidr explains that under that wall, there was a treasure. It was left for 2 young orphans by their very righteous father. By rebuilding the wall, he was protecting their inheritance until they were old enough to claim it. So the good deed wasn't for the ungrateful townspeople. It was an investment in the future, honoring the goodness of a man who was long gone.
What this teaches us is that our good deeds are never, ever wasted. Even if you don't get a thank you, even if nobody recognizes what you did, your efforts are being recorded. The good you put out into the world is like a protected treasure, and it can benefit you or the people you love in ways you might never even see. This is the third mantra for our toolkit. So when you do something good and it feels totally unappreciated, remember this. You're not just working for an immediate reward. You're building a wall that protects a future treasure.
Okay, so we've seen 3 really bizarre events, right? A broken ship, a slain boy, and an unpaid repair job. On the surface, they seem totally random, just chaotic. But they're not. Let's connect the dots here.
What's the one philosophy that ties all of this together? What's the big picture here that we can learn from?
So when you lay it all out like this, a single, powerful pattern just jumps out at you. In every single case, an action that looks negative on the surface, harm, cruelty, wasted effort, is revealed to be an act of divine wisdom. It's protection, it's mercy, it's an investment. The core lesson is so clear. Our limited human perspective, we often only see the surface, while a much deeper plan is at work right underneath it all.
So what does all this mean for you right now in your own life? It means we can adopt a new and much more trusting perspective on this whole journey we're all on. The entire story really boils down to this 3-step mindset. First, stop trying to judge your life just by what you see on the surface. Second, trust that there's a bigger plan unfolding that is way beyond your current understanding. And third, really try to believe that what hurts you today might actually be protecting you tomorrow. That there's a hidden purpose for your ultimate good.
And maybe the most powerful thing to take away is this. The next time you face a broken ship or a rebuilt wall in your own life, you can remember this story. You can find peace, not in having all the answers, but in trusting the wisdom behind the questions. It's a beautiful way to embrace the mysterious and often wonderful unfolding of your own life story.